we will need a method of working out the distance between any 2 points. If I've got a couple of points A and B, then what we're interested in finding is the length of the straight line that joins them. The easiest way to find the length of this line is to draw a horizontal line and a vertical line to form a right-angled triangle. Just to be absolutely clear, let's stick in the right angle so we can see that there. And then we can use Pythagoras' theorem. So, to be clear, we are trying to find the length d of this blue line here. Let's actually have a look at the coordinates of the points. Point A has coordinates -3, 1. Point B has coordinates 5, 7. So that means the length of this horizontal line, it has to take us from -3x coordinate up to a 5x coordinate. It's got a length of 8. And the vertical line, that's got to take us from a y coordinate of 1 up to a y coordinate of 7. That's got a length of 6. So using Pythagoras' theorem, we can see that d squared is 8 squared plus 6 squared. In other words, d squared is 64 plus 36. That means that d squared is 100. So d itself being the square root of 100, it follows that d is 10. Now if we were doing this in complete generality, so we're not going to have particular values for our coordinates, let us say that the point A, instead of having coordinates -3, 1, just has general coordinates x1, y1, and that our point B has coordinates x2, y2, we're still interested in finding the length d between them. So the horizontal line, rather than having the length that was specific to this example, in general will have a length of x2 minus x1. And the vertical line will have a length of y2 minus y1. Well, now we can use Pythagoras' theorem in exactly the same way. What we now have is the fact that d squared is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So therefore the distance between 2 points with coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2 will always be given by x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and the whole thing square rooted. One thing which is interesting here is that it doesn't matter which point you start or finish from. If you switch these two things around and did x1 minus x2, or if you switch this round and have y1 minus y2, or if you did both of those changes, because you are going to square these quantities, you will always get the same answer whichever way round you do them. So you may find that doing it one way is more convenient arithmetically than another. Let's look at an example. Find the distance between the points 1, 5 and 7, -4, giving your answer as a simplified surd. So that distance then is the difference between the x coordinates, 7 subtract 1 squared, plus the difference between the y coordinates, -4 subtract 5 squared, and the whole thing square rooted. 7 subtract 1 is 6, square that, we get 36. -4 subtract 5 is -9, square that, we're going to get 81. So the distance is the square root of 117. Is that as simplified as it could be? Well, 117 is not a prime number. In fact, 117 is 3 times 3 times 13. And using our normal rules of surds, that's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 13, and root 3 times root 3 is 3, so a final answer as a simplified surd is 3 root 13.